Okay, folks, good morning. Happy Sunday. Okay, got that all going in the correct direction. All right, so working on this car that we were working on yesterday. And then we've got the next vehicle prepped up, ready to go too. So we'll see if we can get to that one or not. A little bit of voice problems this morning, I guess. Well, so yesterday we finished painting this rat and pizza box that's on the front of this car. And oddly enough, I actually looked that up to find out what exactly a Erikenstein rod is. And it's some designer, I don't remember who it is. They had an inside joke about a rat in a pizza box. I don't know what that is. I have a lot of inside jokes, but they don't involve something like that. And so I think what we're gonna do with this car is, well, first of all, we're gonna make this a truck. I'm just trying to get everything to work, and I think the truck is the wrong. I'm gonna make it a car. It's gonna save me 3 points, and this is gonna be a primarily ramming vehicle. This fits back here like it was made for it. It's really pretty nice, and I'm gonna put a ram on the front. As much as I don't want to cover up the cool front of this vehicle, because it has a lights. I'm going to put a ram on the front of it. So we're going to have a ram on the front, a ram on the back. It's the only vehicle that I have that's like that. It's not going to leave any points for a gun, I don't think. I don't think it's going to leave any points for a gun. However, I do have a build slot. And there's one of these things that actually uses a build slot, and I never use it. One of these dropped weapons. See if I can find which one it is. Is it the glue dropper? Might be the glue dropper. Glue dropper seems really lame. It uses a build slot, and it has an ammo of only one. Now it is only 1 point, but it uses up a build slot. Mind draw. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to model a gun on it right now. It may end up having something, but we're going to give it the dead weight perk, which basically means it can be treated like a heavyweight vehicle instead of a middleweight vehicle, and probably boarding party. And boarding party allows it to basically attack if it's touching an obstacle, so it can ram somebody and then shoot folks. Usually, if you're involved in a collision, you're not allowed to touch anybody. You're not allowed to fight anybody. So, all right. So first thing is, this thing's going to be all black. First of all, well, I mean, the base color is going to be black. And doesn't end up being black when we're done with that. So we're going to prime the rest of this. I had not planned originally to have a front ram, so we're going to need to prime that ram. Unless somehow I think I can get to everything here. Let's attempt to hot glue gun it and then see if we can paint around it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I don't know what the inside joke involving a rat in a pizza box. Thank you. I don't have any inside jokes that involve rats. Rats are not a part of my life ever. I don't live in a place where there are any. And if they are, then I don't know. The flying cockroaches eat them here or something. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and we'll seal this thing closed too. This is it was originally dark blue. They make it in all kinds of different flavors. This one happened to be dark blue with a big old Hot Wheels logo on it. Oh, I need to move this over here. And we're going to try to do something crazy this afternoon. Trying to make something out of junk. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. Let's move this to here. I got something that came in the mail. I don't even remember what it is. Oh, I know what it is. I bought a razor. At the store, and it came with a piece of packaging that I'm going to try to make a building or something out of. Yeah, you look at this stuff, you're like, oh, this looks like some building that you could use in Tatooine, right? You know, something like that. Come on, man. Are we in fumble fuck mode this morning? I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have to clean up my area. This is what happens. It's not necessarily a mess, but like I take something and I don't put it back. And then you end up with this, and you're like crowded in this little fucking corner, right? And I don't work well like that. I mean, I know most of you guys have shit all over your painting desks, but that doesn't really, come on, switch back over. There we go. I can't work in that environment. I'm like crowded in a fucking corner like this. Like in one of them little Japanese hotels that are like a casket. So we're going to try to make something out of this. I don't have anything to lose. We're going to start off by priming it black. And probably going to leave it on this base. Maybe cut this down a little bit. It's like a reverse curb. Like don't hit the curb. Boom, you know. Put little doors on it or something made out of cardboard. Might be fun to fuck around with. Little gas station or something. Not try to scoop instead of ram. I don't know what that means. Not try to scoop. What's a scoop? I want 2 scoops. I like ice cream. I don't know what that means, Jeffrey. If you're talking about like a scoop over the engine, no, I want to specifically make this so that it is a ram only vehicle. I would have minded having 1 gun, but that would be creating a truck, right? Which is what direction I was going to go in. The problem is now you're at 15 points. 15 points, 2 rams, you're at 23. And, you know, I want to give it that dead weight thing, and then I can have like 1 machine gun. I'm like, well, fuck it. I'd rather have a boarding party and have like the guys being able to shoot, just something different, you know. The thing's freaking hollow, anyways. The machine guns I was going to put on there were those damn AK-47s, which were the same ones from the last one I did. So I wasn't super excited about doing that. The back-to-back guns, the same damn guns. We'll just see where this takes us. I wish I had a smaller RAM, but I don't want to sit here and, you know, the back one is like purpose built for this. So, you know, if this ends up being in the front row, you want to ram into the back of this thing, that's fine. You know, you're going to pay for it. It's going to cost you. Rat in a pizza box. Okay. Hot glue gun is fired up. Let's wiggle this thing out. Now I'm not going to glue this down. I'm going to glue this through it. Just want to make sure this is completely flush. And that's the thing about the hot glue gun. If I screw up and I need to pull it apart, you can pull it apart and you can remove the glue relatively easy. Erikenstein rod. Yeah. Yeah, we glued the wheels. Okay, perfect. I haven't had a big interest in switching out wheels. I just don't. I didn't get to switch wheels out on my own personal vehicle, so I don't feel like the need to do it on these. I mean, if the wheels were terrible, like the Rabbit, I ended up switching the wheels out. But el tan necio, want to fall over. I like this hot glue gun because it's like instant gratification. The other thing I'm not a big fan of is this mesh. It's just difficult to work with. I want to glue it on the inside, and these cars have no tolerance, no extra slop for a piece of mesh to go in there. Like I remember that yellow bastard, I fooled with putting that thing back together way too long. I'll let that sit for a little bit. What is that? Credentials needed. Okay, let's try that again. I keep getting this alert on my email saying it needs credentials for one of my email accounts. I have a couple of email accounts. The one I currently use, and then my old one that I've had forever. And I don't really go into the one I've had forever. And I pretty much, anything that is suspect that I get email, I basically don't open it, ignore it. Because, you know, there's that much nefariousness out there. People that are trying to get your shit. Even though I personally have not had a bad experience with it, I know that those troublemakers are out there. So I basically ignored this email, and it goes, need credentials. Like every 15 minutes I get it. I'm like, I haven't had the time to sit down. I haven't wanted to have the time to sit down and fuck with that and find out if it's legit or not. But I don't even go in there and check any emails. I need to just delete that account. Okay, so this goes on the back. And on the front, we have this go through the middle. Now, I could just say, you know, this is going to be a truck. I could actually have two versions of this. This could be a truck and make it a 35-point vehicle. Now I gain another slot and then put a gun on it. I could do that. But it's still going to have two rams. That's what's going to make it different. It's a two-rammer. And I'd like to have a two-rammer on a small point vehicle, on a smallish point vehicle. The smallish point vehicles are going to get used more often. That's just a fact. I don't ever see having a race with like, okay, we only have 35-point vehicles and above. Like, you know, I've got something like the boom bus. I don't know that the boom bus is that useful without other vehicles on the same team. It's definitely a support vehicle. All right. Now we'll get the primer. And we have another vehicle that's ready to go. So if I have to wait on something to dry on here, we're going to hop over to that one. A vehicle that I haven't put any effort into figuring out what I'm going to equip it with. I saw a post that that someone made. You know, every time I search for something for Gaslands, I end up getting Reddit posts. And I don't like going on Reddit because there's a bunch of crybabies on there. That's probably a good way to call them, crybabies. These millennialist crybabies. And one of them posted a picture of a, I wasn't even looking for this. One of them posted a picture, said, you know, is this a collision or this is not a collision or whatever? And it was a template they had used, and there's a notch in some of these templates where a slide marker goes onto it, and the notch is literally goes through the obstacle, but there's the template would go through the obstacle if it didn't have the notch, but the notch was there, and everybody like agreed, like, yeah, it shouldn't be a collision. And my first thought is, yeah, it's a collision, pal. Like, you know, but you know, people can run things however they want. People can interpret the rules however they want. Um, I'm never gonna play a game again that is like, if something doesn't make sense to all of us playing, but the rules say this is what it is, like the literal translation of the rules say one thing, but everybody thinks it's a mistake and we want to play it a different way, we'll be playing it the different way. You know, in those days of like, well, Phil Barker says, you know, nothing against Phil Barker, but you know, he's not playing our fucking game. Those days are those days are the past. I give up gaming if I got to do shit like that. Like, I'm not dealing with that crap anymore. You know, make a decision and then be consistent in applying it. Yeah, even if you get it wrong, well, everybody played it wrong in that one battle. Maybe the next game we play, we'll play it differently and we'll try to get it right, but just move on. Game's a lot more fun that way. You do you. You do you and don't make me watch. That's a good motto. You do you and don't make me watch. Unless I want to, and I don't want to. Well, I think I'm going to hate how this vehicle looks, or I'm going to love it. But I think what I've learned from now on is like, I might not like something originally, but I can change it to something that I'm happy with. This is not a vehicle I particularly had a vision in mind of how it's supposed to look. Good morning to Hoffman. I saw that Godzilla thing. I said, man, I gotta send you that. You're like on my Godzilla feed. I see anything Godzilla related, which I don't see it very often. I'm like, yep, you're getting that. Pabst Blue Ribbon. I can't say I've ever had Pabst Blue Ribbon. I have no idea what it tastes like. Probably like, you know, Miller High Life or something like that. You know, I've looked at the advertising and I'm like, why would I want a beer that the advertising looks like it's from 1880? You know? I think that almost anyone knows, see Godzilla and I'm on the radar. Yep. Everybody gets Everybody gets triggered, and everybody sees something. And it's like, oh, that's the Hoffman. Or whatever they really call you. People can go by whatever the name they want to. You know, somebody can be on there like, I'll call, call them whatever the name they want to be called. Gewürztraminer. All right, I'll call you Gewürztraminer. You know, I don't know. Well, that came out of left field. All right. So this little bastard, this little bastard's missing a part that the primer didn't get on. Used to drink a lot of PBR. Why? I've never drank much beer. I remember, in college. What were the beers that came out in college? Bud Ice, Keystone. I never liked Keystone. Ice House. What else? I had a friend of mine that loved Rolling Rock. I don't like IPAs. I can drink them if I have to, but why do I have to? Okay. So we'll let that guy dry. And meanwhile, what else do we have prepped? Ready to go? This thing. Pussyfoot. Now, Pussyfoot had all kinds of different pieces in them. And they're all bright-ass red. Bright-ass rubbery red. Lots and lots of pieces. And some of these I think we can put back in. I don't know what the hell this is supposed to be here in the roof. And it's even worse. It's like I immediately thought I saw this claw on the thing. I'm like, and the little cat symbol there, Puma, whatever. I'm like, that's Pussyfoot. But it's even worse than that. There's like other feet and everything. It's definitely a foot. I don't know. And I tried doing a Google image search for this thing online to see what it is. I have no idea. It's definitely some off-brand thing. It's a Bronco, according to this. All right. The front had two different things, and they were stacked. It was weird. You had like this is going to go on top of, this is basically the grill protector. It was like this, and they were one in front of the other one. I don't think it fit inside. Maybe it was like this. It was like a fucking puzzle. This was like this. And this sat like that. Ish. And then this went through the two holes here. That Apocalypse Mustang is looking cool. Is it a Mustang? They are die-cast metal. Is it a Mustang? I don't know what it is. I don't think it's a Mustang. No, it's definitely not a Mustang. I do have a Mustang. The very first Gaslands car I built is a Mustang, and it's not complete. Because, like, I didn't have any guns at the time. And I know it's called Tantrum, but I haven't put any guns on it. And this is the first car that I left it at the color it was. It's one of these tuned cars. Could probably do a better job with the engine. I had to paint the windows solid because there's nothing inside. The tuned vehicles don't have an interior. I guess the designer didn't want to make a tuned interior too. It'd be all like weird and stuff. Yeah, this is definitely, I think this is a made-up vehicle. Like a 50s kind of vehicle or something like that. I don't know. It's kind of odd. But this is Tantrum. I just haven't added any. The whole bottom side was chrome, and actually I was really happy the way the tail lights turned out. We painted all that and painted the tail lights. Yeah, this is, I usually just weather them, wash them and weather them, and enhance the color that they already are. This one was like this blue, oddly coincidental, but it had all this Hot Wheels logo on it that just didn't go on it. So I'm like, let's just make it black. And this is going to be a ramming thing. But it does have a little rat in a pizza box in there. And the lighting is just god-awful. It's not for me, but it is for you guys. So we painted it in there. Supposedly, I looked it up. It was some inside joke that the designer of this Hot Wheels car had about a rat in a pizza. I don't joke about rats and pizza. That's not, I don't want to get scarred about eating pizza. So this is going to fit in here. And this is an off-brand, who knows what the heck this is. I picked this up at the junk shop, basically. Okay, this must go like that. And this goes like this. What isn't making a whole lot of sense is why there's this little step in the front. But, okay, now I think, and then what if and then this is the protector for it. I could have just left it put together and just painted around it. But it's easier to get the primer and stuff. Okay, that's how the front of this vehicle is. Okay. So I can hot glue that together. Of course, I turned the hot glue gun off. I'm about to stop and clean my whole fucking desk up because it's like, and it's my own fault, but I move from one thing to the other, and it's like things get piled in front of me and to the right of me, and I'm extremely right-handed. So I keep throwing interference in my own way. Let's fire that little guy up. Used to build European 143rd metal and resin kits. It's a New York legend. The video 10 years ago. Oh, really? Pizza rat? We don't have rats in Florida. If we do, they don't come in the house. Rats are like big city Gotham. They're Gotham problems. Pizza rat, huh? Well, I decided to paint it. So it's definitely gonna have a rat name. What do we call it? Ramrat, something like that. It's gonna be a ramming vehicle. And I might put a painted number on the side of it. Maybe if Marcus is here, he can talk me into or out of calling it number 4. Number 4 is an unlucky Chinese number. Well, I don't think this is going to be a Chinese driver. It doesn't really look like something they would drive. Not that they can't. I'm just saying that, you know, this is like some greasy redneck will drive something like that. It was a rat dragging a big slice of pizza up some stairs, had a bunch of memes about it. Priscilla Raquel, welcome. What are you planning on doing with these? Well, there's a game called Gaslands. We'll go ahead and get the game over there. Promoting somebody else's game. That's fine. I hope this guy's not a communist. It's going to be reversed. I'm warning you. It's called Gaslands Refueled, and you play a game with Matchbox cars or Hot Wheels cars. You build them, and there's templates. Some people have told me it's like X-Wing. I've never played X-Wing. And it's super cheap to build. And the game's pretty fun. Okay, we fired up now? We'll leave that thing alone. Let's come in here. I got to be careful with the hot glue because it does take up space. And a lot of these vehicles don't have any extra space. You know, a lot of these toys are actually precision made. You know, not German engineering or anything like that, but there's not a whole lot of slop in them. Let's get this going point in the right direction. Now the question is, does this end up going through the front? And if it leaves like these little spider webs, they just come right off, unlike epoxy. Yeah, this will end up having to be glued from the bottom. Okay, cool. Yeah, now that it says Bronco on, now that I mentioned it, the front of it does look like a Ford truck, a bit Ford truck looking. It's a good looking vehicle. I have no idea what it's going to have on it, other than big old tires. Now, this is actually to scale what a monster truck should look like compared to these other vehicles. If you go to the store and buy a monster truck, they're ridiculously large. I mean, they've got wheels that are like this tall. Like they should be like a 60-point vehicle or something like that. Yeah, game pieces, exactly. You got some patience. That would drive me nuts. Well, people have I've said this before. Everybody has patience for some things. Like I don't have patience like to work on a computer program, spend hours, and then I go nowhere. Like I don't have the patience for that. I don't have the patience to spend a lot of time on something and then it's a lost cause. You know, everything here, yeah, it takes a while, but it's always a win. That's why I do it, you know. I have the patience to not to still work at the damn place for as long as I have. Nah, I'm not a fan of super glues. They're too brittle and they don't take up space. So I actually I'm a big fan of epoxy, and the hot glue gun has replaced my epoxy a lot. I do use super glue for some things. I use epoxy for some things. I use the hot glue gun for some things. Everything has a purpose, but I'm not a fan of super glues as a general rule. And I have a couple different super glues, but they just don't glue some materials really well. And these glues are these pieces are too soft. They're too soft like to see. Maybe if we put the window in, that'll add enough of a this has got to be trapped back there. It's got to be held in place. I don't want to put that clear window on it. Go away. I don't really need to put a cage on it either. I mean, these guys are sitting so far up off the ground. These guys are redneck folks, man. They got like arms dangling out of it. They don't give a shit about personal safety. Yeah, I use all kinds of glues. I use all kinds of paints, except enamel paints. I'm not using enamels. But I hadn't used hot glue gun until like 2 years ago, and man, it saves a shitload of problems. And this was kind of like a Chinese finger puzzle, putting it. Oh, really? Okay. Let's get this. The most convoluted thing to put together that I've seen. All right, we're going to hold you in place. That's where it goes. But it's funny, it doesn't have anything to hold it in place there. Yeah, like that. That looks good. Yeah, so this is like just similar things. Like you've got a metallic thing that is all rounded with this plastic that is not glue happy, and it's got all kinds of problems. And I got this out of like a junk bin for $1. So they do, but it's not plastic. If it was a plastic model, we'd be doing all kinds of different stuff. This is like soft plastic army men kind of plastic here. And then you have a metal body that's coated in an enamel paint. It's just a bunch of dissimilar shit. So the biggest problem is getting this situated where it'll stay. There we go. All right, I'm going to keep, and it slid again. Yeah, this is a poorly designed, this is not a Hot Wheels. This is some off-brand thing. It's not a Matchbox either. So what we're going to do is, this is the only place that there's a little notch for it. So we're going to put that there. And the biggest problem with super glue is if you glue it and it breaks apart, then you have to go in there and you have to take all the other super glue, because super glue doesn't glue itself. You have to take it all out, and I'm like, it's a pain in the ass. But I use everything. There's people in the UK be using, PVA for everything. Like I really dislike PVA. All right, let's fire this thing up in here and see if we can get some grippage. The good thing about this is we can make this look ugly underneath. This is totally not going to be visible. All right. That's kind of where it has to be. But there's nothing like holding it in place there. Like it's just like free form. So I'm probably going to do is, there's so much of a gap here on the sides, I'm probably going to put hot glue gun underneath there as well and create my own little ledge. It'll be fine. It's one thing that doesn't get touched. I just saw this. I'm like, this is the perfect size for this vehicle. All right. And we have a goop there. There's like literally would not stay on that little ledge. All right. So on the sides here, we're going to put hot glue gun on it. And my stomach is giving a free concert, apparently. So if it sounds like I'm about to shit my pants, that's just the stomach just being friendly. I have a racist stomach. It doesn't like black coffee. I don't know. What can I say? Pot metal. Yeah, I don't know. I actually did a Google image search to see who made this. I have no idea who made this little guy. I had no idea who made this little guy. But almost all of these things, whether they have enough details that are really interesting. I really like taking them apart and seeing what's inside. I actually don't like taking them apart. I like seeing what's inside. And this one guy, this old school Hot Wheels, is actually metal on metal. So in other words, it's a metal rivet on a metal body. I'm just not, I tried drilling it, I'm not drilling it anymore. People make it look like it's real easy. Oh, you're doing it wrong. Okay, you come over here, sit on my lap, and you do it. I even bought metal bits, like the strongest bits that they have to cut through metal, won't cut through this stuff. Like, fuck it, we'll put armor plates on this bastard, and it'll look just fine. I mean, the only reason I take it apart is so that I can paint the interior. You know, if you're going to be difficult, well, then I won't paint your interior. Nobody will know how cool you are on the inside. But usually, one part is plastic and one part is metal, so I just drill around with the plastic part and pop it out. A lot safer, a lot quicker. It's age like me. Usually says on the base plate. This one does not. This says made in China, Bronco CP5001. One of these other ones that I got is actually I did a Google image search on it, and it was a Happy Meals toy. So okay, so this is on there strong enough. Now when we put this thing together, we won't have any loud ass red colors that don't belong on here. I didn't disconnect it, did I? No, good. It just takes a moment. It's stupid to be inefficient, that's all. It's not like I'm on a time crunch. It's just frustrating to just be creating extra work for yourself. Okay, this is the size it should be, not twice as big as this. And I'm not exaggerating. They're twice as big. Like there's one I wanted to get that looks like a fucking unicorn. And like, that's just a make-believe thing. No, there's some chick that drives it around. And it's like, oh, that's, you know, you could just, the jokes just write themselves after that thing. But it's too big. It's like, you know, I mean, these monstrous trucks in these games aren't that many points. And it looks like a vehicle that would be, you know, 100 points or something. It's massive. I mean, it has only a crew of 2 in the game, and I don't even know how many weapon slots it has, 2 or 3 or. So I don't want this to be a weapon-laden nightmare. I want this to be basically what it can do. Its main thing is it can drive over people. And there's a thing called up and over. That's what this thing does. It can drive over another vehicle. It can drive over some obstacles. The goal is not to make some vehicle that's invincible. The goal is to make a vehicle that you have to play a certain way. Okay? And there's some little red showing. We'll cover that over in primer. It doesn't stick real well to this plastic, even if you wash it and what have you. It's not that big of a deal. After you seal it at all, it isn't an issue. How old am I? How old do you think I am? Somebody said the other day, it was yesterday, it was like, man, why are you 42 years old and playing with trucks, playing with toy cars? I was like, well, why are you 14 and smoking pot? I'm not 42. I don't want to be 42. That's even more years towards retirement. I don't feel my age. I'm young because I play with toys. You know, crotchety people that are like, you know, play golf and shit like that. They're the ones that act old. 45. Reverse those numbers. Must stop and get a job. Not today, I don't. I get 2 days off a week, god damn it. This is one of them. All right. Now this thing is primed. So we got these two things to go. I'm going to give this just a little bit of a wait. Do we still have some primer left? We do. All right. We're going to get the black back on these spots that scuffed themselves away. And then we'll go back to the rat rod. Maybe I'll look up Bronco cheap ass die cast 5000 CP 5001 and see who made. I'm just curious who makes it. Yeah, I got this from a vintage toy shop for $1, and well, we're getting our dollar's worth out of it. That's for sure. You built models up to your mid-60s till I couldn't see details anymore or keep my hands steady. Well, I don't have the hand steadiness problem, thank goodness. But I always rested. These people that paint stuff out in the middle of nowhere, they'll like, you'll see a miniature. They'll be like, I'm painting this Warhammer miniature, and they're bracing themselves, but they're in like fucking midair. I'm like, that's stressful. I'm always resting on the table, you know. And vision, yeah, when I hit about 44, 45, I had to start using readers and or just take my contacts out. But it's really weird to be nearsighted your entire life, and then all of a sudden you can't see things because your eye is too close to it. Like, that's weird. But what that's actually caused is now I'm watching everything, I'm doing everything in +6. I don't know that I'm painting any better. I'm certainly not painting any worse, but I'm enjoying all the little intricate details that miniatures or models have that I probably would have glossed over had I not been so zoomed in on the details. There's a lot of stuff that these things have that you don't appreciate it as much. But I have not experienced a hand unsteadiness thing. I do not want that. I'd rather, shit my pants or something like that. Well, not on camera, but we don't need hand unsteadiness here. That's not welcome. This is a hard hobby to do with that. Yeah, I do the models too, but I don't want to do models and they just sit there. Okay, I think we got all the parts. So we'll let Pussyfoot dry. And we'll come back to Ramrat. You're left-handed too. Well, that's okay. I mean, it's left-handed is normal for you. There's nothing wrong with that. And so you're in your 60s, so you're probably over. Well, you're older than I am. When you were growing up, it was got to be more difficult being left-handed when you were growing up as a kid than now. Now there's like stuff for like different people, but back then, like I remember being in grade school, like nobody was left-handed. No one. I mean, I didn't encounter people that were left-handed. And nobody was like, hey, that's not fashionable or whatever. You don't get to pick whether you're left-handed. I'm extremely right-handed. I mean, left hand, okay, the watch. If I drive one-handed, it's with the left hand, because we're shifting with this one. If I have to have one hand on the handlebar on a bike, I'm more comfortable with it being my left hand. I don't know why. That's pretty much it. that's pretty much all my left hand does. Oh, it picks up a cup occasionally. Yeah, my drink here is always on my left hand because everything goes this way. All right, we got to decide whether or not we're going to put a number on this thing. I think it's just, I don't want to poo-poo on anybody's parade. But when I look at picture, I get a lot of ideas of inspiration doing my modeling by looking at other people's stuff online, except for Gaslands. And I'm not saying I don't get anything from other people's pictures on Gaslands, but I see a lot of Gaslands stuff that I find uninspiring. And you guys may be uninspired by the stuff I do. Okay, that's fine. I don't need to be your hero. I don't want to be anybody's hero. I'm just kind of plugging along here and keeping from, and staying happy. But I see a lot of people that'll do uninspiring car builds. They'll like do a whole team and they all look the same, or every vehicle they have looks like a rust bucket that wouldn't be able to go like 50 feet straight without parts falling off of them. Now I am gonna have one vehicle that looks like that, but that's by design. But that's just not my thing, and I like the fact that I want it to be based on a real vehicle. Well, this is a make-believe, something, but this is like a Bronco. Like I like that this is a Mustang. I mean, it's tuned, but I like that it has some reality to it. As I do like cars, and I don't know where the fuck I was going with this, but I don't like a vehicle that's just thrown together and they just dry brush a bunch of rust and they all kind of look the same. If I repaint these stripes that came on the vehicle are gone. I'm not going to put them back on there to that magnitude. I mean, there's a lot of striping on there. Like that's a waste of time to put that much striping on there. People forced you to do right-handed. Well, that sucks. Tony is a left-handed. The image is reversed because of the camera. Yeah, there's no way to do it. Yeah, well, there is. It's complicated. It's complicated. If I do that, then I got to go through Streamlabs, which means I can't see your comments here. These freaking tech nerds make everything difficult. Like, I don't know. There should be a button here. I mean, there's a button to do like green screen stuff here. I don't care about green screen. How about just flip the image so it's not? Nope, there's no button for that. Like, okay, Hoffman, is four a bad number for this thing? Should I call this number 4? I might just like dry brush the weathering at this point. That's the only bad thing about black is all the rustifications and stuff are kind of like, missed opportunity. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dry brush this thing. We can always go in and add a number and then dry brush over it to make it fit in. So let's get some of these juices going here. We've got chocolate brown, U.S. field drab, and not skeleton bone. Close, but no cigar. Iraqi sand. Number 4 is good. I also like Rad Rat for the name. The one I picked Ram Rat because it's this fucker rams. I mean, it's got like no weapons other than that, other than what's the crew, you know, other than what the crew has. I don't like names that have nothing to do with what it, you know, like it's, you know, like a flaming pig, and it doesn't have any fire weapons. Like, no, that doesn't fly in my world, you know. Flaming pig. That's like a pink police car. Which our police force actually has one. It's for a, you know, anti-cancer car or something like that. I don't know what, you know, I don't know why, but how'd you like to be the guy that drives the pink police car? Yeah, well, there's a rat in there, right? One of you guys wanted me to paint the rat. It works. You know, I didn't know that whole pizza thing, man. The pizza gate. Is that what Pizzagate is that everybody talks about? I don't even know what the fuck that is. Politician shit show. Number 4, huh? What style 4 should I do it in? Don't say cursive. Let me get the weathering done, and then we'll come in and do the 4, because the only weathering that's going to be over that 4 is going to be Iraqi sand lightly anyways. So let's get that out of the way, and then we'll do number 4. And then Marcus can have a cow. Oh my God, that's unlucky. I said, well, the guys, that's like similar to the Chinese word for death. I said, well, he is driving a black car. I mean, you know. I mean, I got some creepy looking cars. Have you seen the Nosferatu guy? I picked that up. That was like a $5 car. Of course, it came with 2 cars. And that's when I realized, you know, it is a shame to repaint some of this stuff, because a lot of these things have graphics that I wouldn't paint on them. You know, they'd take way too much effort to do, like the clowns. And the clown, we're going to be hitting the clowns as soon as my parts come in. But I got a whole set of cars that's clowns. You know, and they're like evil clown looking, you know, demented. They're basically going to be like demented fucks that like to dress up as clowns. I don't have a thing against clowns. I don't have a problem with them. They don't creep me out or anything. What do they call this thing in the death race? The tombstone. A big old slab of concrete they drop on somebody. Yeah, that's like a tombstone with spikes. Oh, I got to show you the Nosferatu. I don't know what the font is called, but I always liked it. Good morning, Barnes. Let's see what's it called. I like the rally car number font. Women racers like using pink. I have a pink car. I've got 2 pink cars, and I'm going to have a pink Porsche, and that will not be a person that identifies as a woman that drives it. That's going to be Dita. We represent all folks in this racing game, and we make fun of everyone. No harm intended. It's just funny. Let's find Nosferatu for you. Yeah, like this thing. I picked this thing up. Is it going to be the Dark Knight? Nope. It's going to be some jackass that thinks he's the Dark Knight. This is some guy who's batshit crazy. And that's what the name of this car is going to be, batshit crazy. Where is Nosferatu? It's not going to be in here. It's on a card. It's actually on a double card because it came with 2 vehicles. Damn, I got a lot of cars. still a cheap ass hobby. Yeah, here's one of the clown cars. Look at those graphics on the side. We'll keep all those graphics. You know, it's got gold accents. I can't have the gold accents. That's stupid. Okay. That's not practical. We know it's not really gold. Pick a different color. Now here's a Mustang. I didn't even know I had this. And it's pink. That's cool. But they have a chrome interior, so you can't have a chrome interior. You know, if you got into a chrome interior vehicle, assuming you didn't like get scalded to death by the heat, you know, you'd get like glitter all over you. Man, I really set myself on a witch hunt here. You're worth it, man. I have these organized by type. Or I had them organized by type. Not anymore. Yeah, I have so many that I go in there and I'm like, oh, I don't remember I had that. What's this? I have a Chevette. That thing's cool, man. That's why I got it. A Chevette. Dude, I don't know where it is. Is it here? No, it's on the card. All right, we'll split the difference. You go online and find it. And it won't be some undead guy that drives it. Nosferatu Hot Wheels. Why isn't it coming up? It isn't coming up. Anyways, it's a very fast looking. All right, let's not do an image search. No, not that. Here it is. Here it is. Let me make this big, and then I'll show you my screen here. Nosferatu Evil Twin Hot Wheels. Yeah, it came with 2 in the set. Come on. I want this. I can't even make this big. There we go. Okay. can't see on the screen. Let's flip this thing over so I can point it in the direction. Okay, here we go. And it actually says Nosferatu on the top, but I saw that, and that's going to look really cool. And it comes with this other, like, drag strip. I can give a shit. I don't remove the decals. I just paint over them. I've tried using the whole trick with the dry erase marker. You know, I look things up, and people will say, oh, this works all the time. And then you try it and it doesn't work. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I tried it, you know? Like people swear to me like, oh, you could just use, oh, you're a big fan of hand sanitizer to take, paint off of stuff. Alcohol works just as well. No, fucking doesn't. I don't want to steer people wrong, right? Like, I feel like I have a responsibility to, like, I don't want to tell you this works and then it doesn't, just to run my mouth. I got a reputation that, it's just personal honor. I don't want to make up shit, So the thing, it doesn't work. I mean, so I read that some people use acetone and I don't want to mess with acetone. It smells horrible. If you go too far, you fuck up the paint. Like, I just paint over it. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, you're gonna do something cool with that Nosferatu car. I also like that pink car. Not so much the color, but the car design itself. The car will look good. I got the 240 Fubuki. When I got Fubuki, I'm like, man, I want a 240, but pink? Come on. These flowers, that's stupid looking. I'm like, all right, I'll repaint it. And then I realized, I'm like, oh, that's perfect for a freaking girl's car. And I love it. So like, give it a chance kind of thing, Okay. As we were. Sorry I couldn't show you the actual one. It's in there somewhere. It was $5 for both of the cars on the same card. I thought it was kind of unique. I mean, it's got like a Nosferatu looking, it's Nosferatu. I'm going to call it Nosferatu. And it's going to have a supercharger. What's it called? Nitro. It's going to have nitro in it. Oh, let's go back to my other screen here. Close that. And I may use some of the horror skills on it. I have no interest in making anything occult. And it's not that, oh, you don't want to dabble in it? No. And I just don't think it fits into my world. I don't think that, I don't believe in any of it personally. And I just don't think it's something that I want to add to it, But why not? I'll say, well, I don't have a team of like Amway salesmen. Why? It doesn't fit in my world, Melatonin kicking in. All right, man. Thanks for coming by. See you on the next one. Yeah, I got to do these feeds on the vertical because, there could be some people like that gentleman that just, yes, I just assumed he was a gentleman, that don't know about this, and I think that I don't think YouTube does a proper job of sending it out to the right folks. I don't know. It's like impossible. There's so much crap out there. But I don't want to give you guys, crappy advice or make up shit or, do videos that are, just of no value. So we're trying to do things here kind of the best we can. And maybe it'll enlighten somebody. Somebody will find value in it or whatever. So your brother's hooked on this, on the 3D bot maker, huh? That's some amazing shit. That's really some amazing shit. I can't say enough good stuff about that guy, about his filming things. That is just a whole lot of work, though. Yeah, he was doing this thing where people would like send him cars and stuff. Like there was like one event that he had that people would like do custom builds, and I'm like, I could do a custom build for him, and but then I got to go to the post office, pay shipping, wonder how long my car would show up. It's like I don't like. I'm not. I don't like to like order things or do anything like that. I'm constantly like, okay, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I have a lot of patience for this. I don't have a lot of patience where I'm wondering when something's going to happen. I've already like all the gears are in motion and I don't know when things are going to happen. Like I don't have patience for that. And by the time we're done with this, it's mostly not going to be black. It's going to be weathered. And the engine's not completely done. We're going to have more drippings and things like that on the engine. I did see the last episode. I did see the last episode. There was one of the last episodes that I saw where like somebody got hit and somebody got driven. It was either one of the last two episodes. One of the people got hit and they got moved on down the road. Still disappointed that there's not really a 2D person. That's the funny guy. But here's the question, like if I did that, and I would never do that, it just seems intellectually dishonest. It's just not in my personality. I don't like to obfuscate things from people. And but if I was going to have a conversation with myself and create two characters, and one of them is what you're hearing now, would that be the serious one or would that be the Joker? And I have a feeling that I would be the Joker. Like I would have to make another voice that would be the serious, like rules lawyer, pricky guy, you know? Like I'd be the 2D already. I have to create a 3D guy. It's like a stick in the mud. I mean, if I were to do such a thing, which I wouldn't do. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. I got too many things to paint to be screwing around like that. Maybe if I was retired. But I was in Walmart yesterday, and I noticed that I think on one of his posts, I noticed that he said what sets he bought to make some of his things for the straightaways. Not that I'm getting into that. I don't need to get into that. I got him for that. But, man, those Hot Wheel track things are expensive. Like let me just buy some straight sections. Like $7? What the fuck? It's just it's like way too expensive. Way too expensive. Kind of let down so many DNFs. I wouldn't do the diecast racing, but gladiators would be a cool idea. I like the his demolition derby is one of my favorite event, and the names of some of the sometimes the naming of the cars is lame, and sometimes it's fucking brilliant. It's all over the place. I don't know. People may think the same thing of me, like, oh, that's a stupid name for that thing. Oh, that one's really cool, but that's dumb, you know. But that whole demolition derby, Betty Van Halen, that was great. That's freaking great. It's so great. what is it? The Kaiju Killers, Kaiju Crushers? I think one of the teams was Kaiju Crushers. I knew you had to be rooting for those guys. Yeah, and the videos and the smoke, and the air horn when they start. I mean, he's put a lot of effort into that. And I can't believe he doesn't have 1 million subscribers. He should have 10 million subscribers. Yeah, the diecast racing, even if you wanted to do that, like, how would you go about even getting one of those timers that keeps the time? I mean, it's too much behind the scenes work, you know? That if it's something like you appreciate it, like I appreciate, like if I'm doing World War II stuff and like doing the behind the scenes of finding out, I want to do, a 6th Panzer Division during Wintergewitter relief of Stalingrad, and I want to find out what the paint schemes and numbers would be on the side of the Panzer IIIs and 4. Like nobody would give a shit about that except me, but it's something I enjoy doing. All that anal retentive editing and stuff, like I'm just not interested in that. I can't be interested in everything, Esteban Reyes. Yeah, I didn't start watching him when the whole McLeod thing, the McLeod thing had already happened. So I've only seen him for like 3 years or something like that. The last 3. I haven't seen the earlier stuff than that. But yeah, he's got some. I mean, he's got some really entertaining content. Really entertaining content. Yeah, I saw the whole Stephen King and the whole Fiero Ferrari thing. That was excellent. The problem now is he does a lot of editing, so you wonder, like, is anything edited? Like, I mean, if you've watched, I don't know if you're a DB. Are you a DB? Yeah, you're a DB player. I don't know if you watched that episode that Mitch and I did from Suggestion where we did battles of ancient Israel. That thing's insane. The things that happen in that series of 4 and 5 games are so bloody unlikely that it's unbelievable. And we were there, and it's live, So I just, that's why I like doing things live, because it's the what are the odds of this happening, and yet it's happening anyways, that really appeals to me about gaming. That's just unbelievable. And unbelievable stuff happens all of the time. All of the time, unbelievable stuff happens. And you just got to be there to see it, and yeah, that battle of the Old Testament is insane. That series is just the most unlikely freaking things happen, and it's like epic. It's one of those things where it's like you're playing one side, you want to win, and you're getting your ass beat, and you're loving every bit of it. You're loving every bit of the fact that the most unlikely stuff is falling on your head, and it's amazing, I don't think Yetsu wins. Yeah, I'm a DBA player. It was. Your Bronze Age battles or some sort of favorite. Esteban Reyes, yeah. Esteban Reyes. He's got some good ones. I'll have to go through there, and Betty Van Halen and some of the people that submit car names, they better not be in advertising. They don't do a very good job, in my opinion. All right, let's get a 4 on here. Let's get a 4. This guy looks like somebody who's not well. I mean, he's riding with a fucking rat. I mean, hell, he's letting the rat drive. Okay, so people that aren't well, in my opinion, don't have like really neat handwriting. We're also going to do one of the few cars that actually has handwriting on it. So I think this is a good opportunity to go ahead and write the name of the car on the car. Like I'm going to put Ramrat on here. And I think here on the bumpers would probably be a good place for it. And we'll put the number on the door. And there won't be a hidden meaning in any of it. It's just, it's just what it is. Let's get out Mr. White and the black. And there's no guns on this thing. For now. This is going to be a great vehicle or it's going to suck. I say that to all of them and they all end up having some value. Let's go thinner than that. And we need a little bit of agua. And I thought for sure I'd already be doing the Mexican lowriders, and I have not. And it's not because I'm not itching to do them. It's just other things keep getting in the way. Okay, so we're going to start with this darkish gray. Okay, so what I have in mind is to do something like, let's see if you can see it. Something like this. And of course it's fucking backwards. Damn it. And I'm going to make it relatively big. And then we're going to come in here and we're going to do the 4 on the other side so it's fresh in our mind. And then we're going to put ramrod on it. All right, ramrat is 3 words, so the split needs to be between the M and the R. So I'm going to put the M in here first. And of course, it'll be a little brighter than that. I consider this almost like sketching it. Like I'm going to sketch where it's going to go. All right, and then we're going to come in here with more white. And this doesn't need to be super neat. This is probably some guy with a substance abuse problem probably on it, writing this stuff down. All right, now we're going to go with a pure white, and we're going to weather over it. Yeah, I don't really miss playing DBA, especially with all the piston matches that are on Fanaticus. I go on there from time to time, and I'm like, man, I got that one guy on there, I don't think he's ever played the game. Neat. Several people on there like to argue more than they like playing the game. I'm like, I don't know that Mitch is playing that much, but that's not my problem. I don't have a problem with other people playing it. I'm just like, I've done all I can do with it, and we still have these same recurring problems that are driving me crazy. So I'm like, we're walking away from it. And it's keeping me from doing other stuff. Of course, it's not weathered yet. That's another thing that's a pain in the ass about posting on there. You got to go through a hosting service. You can't just post it directly like on Facebook. That's the best thing about Facebook is it's easy to post images. Hell, you can edit them right on the Facebook post. Going through a hosting service and finding one that doesn't want to charge, it's a pain in the ass. Well, I don't know that I'm going to weather the numbers, to be honest with you. Let's go ahead and do some black lining and make some of these details pop. And then we'll do the rustification and see what it looks like. I think it'll be pretty happy with how it turns out, considering it is all one color. So let's get dark tone out here. And I gotta thin it some. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can't tell the lighting is being such a dick to you guys. That one vertical door jamb on there. These things have great detail. You just gotta make them pop. This is why I personally don't like doing tanks and vehicles and using some kind of dusting powders that a lighter color works its way into a recess. Because then you can't see these details 3 feet away. It all like blends together. And yes, it looks more realistic, but that's not the look I'm going for. Mine's like more of a comic book. That sounds terrible. More of a graphic novel. This is going to be a useful vehicle if you get it at the beginning of the race. Once you get through the gate, not as useful. Yeah, I never got around to doing a Three Kingdoms army. If I had, I probably would have done way, and I probably would have done that. I probably would have painted them the same way they are in the Dynasty Warriors game. So in other words, they'd be a blue gray, not very gray, more on the blue. I don't know that I could do a generic Three Kingdoms Chinese army. I'm past that point. It's a little too late. So I actually looked something up on the internet that I've thought of for a while and remembered to look it up. When I was thinking, okay, I was going to put a single digit number on this, like what's everyone's least favorite number? So I looked that up, and the answer I got, don't know if it's right or wrong, but the answer the internet gave me was that most people dislike numbers like 10 or 100 or something like that because I think it said something along the lines of they associate it with a number that's not specific, like about 100, about 10. They like more specific numbers. Well, that's what I entered. What I really meant to say is, what's your favorite number 1 through 9? But I didn't type that, so I got a different answer. But then I was surprised to find out that everybody's favorite number, according to this, most common favorite number 1 through 9 is 7. And I'm surprised. I don't know why. I just figured they'd probably all have an even chance. 1 through 9, which number would I think would probably, if I had to guess, which number would be the least favorite? Something like 6. 6 just, I mean, what the hell is even 6? You know? Mine's 5. I don't know why. It is. It always has been, always will be. I like 5. I like the way 5 looks. I just like the way 5 looks. Looking to get a few sets of life color liquid pigments for weathering. I've never seen life color stuff here in the States. But then, how would I find it? There's no hobby stores. Is life color made by Humbrol? I had to order a tin. The very first Firefly I painted, I ordered a tin of whatever the correct color is for the drab, the British drab color. And it was an enamel paint, and I was already painting acrylic stuff. And I painted it with enamels anyways, and it turned out fine. But then I found the mix that was suggested by using Vallejo colors, and I was just as happy with that. So, and the little tin dried out on me. Like, I used it one time, didn't use it again for 10 years, try to open it up again, and it's trashed. Like, okay, well, that receptacle device doesn't work well. Like the container doesn't work well. Your town has a hobby store. You're lucky, man. The Mach 5. I think they do a speed race or Hot Wheels car. They do, but probably expensive. Italian company. Okay. Well, the hobby's got to be a lot more popular in England. What's the population of England? And I mean England, I mean, the UK. 100 million? I'm going to guess 100 million. And the US is almost 3 times that. I bet there's more historical gamers in the UK than there are in the United States. I know that's true. Well, it started over there. It should. It makes sense. If you played a Warhammer game and you bought like Warhammer figures, you use the official Warhammer figures, but then you use the unofficial Warhammer paints, would they have a moo cow? Like they don't allow like off-brand, things in there, and I could see that to a point, but there's a difference between, hey, I want people to use our products, to if you don't use our products, you're like, you're a bad person. I'm like, yeah, that's not cool. Like if you don't use all Vallejo, you're gonna be, like, no. RC Hobby Shop, they do trains and stuff too. Yeah, there's RC. Well, there used to be RC stuff everywhere, and there still is, but that's just something that doesn't interest me. You know, the train stuff's all right, but there's a hobby store like 30 miles away, and it's not a bad hobby store, but they have a lot of everything, which means they have like nothing I need. Like I'm extremely scale specific. Like I would never build anything 1/48 scale. Never. I'm just like, I don't want to go down that road. I'm going to either do this or 1/72, and that's it. Or my 15 millimeter ancients. Like I wouldn't do ancients in another scale. As much as I like 1/72 scale, when I was doing DBA, all the time you'd see, hey, I started building some armories with 1/72 scale plastic figures. I'm like, I don't want to hear anything else. Like I don't need to be nasty to the person, but I'm like, I'm not playing with plastic figures for 1/72 scale because there's no variety. It's all about variety. Like, why get involved in something where all we make is Romans and barbarians? That's it. Well, what about the medieval? We don't make it at that scale. I mean, they do now, but I'm just saying, I'm just using an example where it's like, maybe they don't make enough Chinese stuff or something, and I really want to do Asian armies. Like, I'm just not interested in that. I'm not interested in something that's not that all the stuff on there. And that may have come from when I was a kid. My dad was really into trains, and my dad was always into trains, and he had his HO scale, and I got O scale stuff. And we'd go to these stores back when there was hobby stores, and he never had anything for me. Never, never, ever had anything that was O scale. So I'm like, I don't want to play this freaking three rails scale freaking game, thing anymore where there's nothing. You walk into stores and there's never anything for me, Or like, oh yeah, they have something. It's that stupid Plasticville train station that I already have one of. Or, the fucking tunnel. Remember that tunnel that you'd get? And it was like made of foam, and it was like, I don't know, maybe a foot and a half long, and it had the ever so slightly curve in it. I'm like, that's fucking lame. Like, where's all the cool stuff? Well, it's not available in your scale. You ever just give up on the hobby and pick it up next year? I have. I had a point in my life where I was like, I'm not going to paint anymore. And it lasted for a year. It was like 2000, and it was before I got into DBA. I've been pretty solid during DBA. This is my therapy. I realize if I don't do this, I'm going to be on the news. I'm obviously exaggerating, but this brings me peace. I got to get my creative energy out. So no, no, I got to do this. I got to do this or retire. I mean, if I didn't have anything to do, but like I'm like into historical stuff. I'm like, so I want to like participate. So the way to participate is like, learn about different things and paint different paints. And it's just no. I don't ever hang it up till, because what happens is what would I fill this time with? I'd go play video games. Well, what do video games do? You deal with conflicts and problems constantly, and they like keep coming up, and it's not like therapeutic. You're like, I'll be done playing a game and I'll be in a bad mood, because you've been fighting something for 2 hours, and no, this brings peace of mind. You have two stores. All right, Hoffman. We have two stores in the local town, both mostly selling Games Workshop stuff. One out of town, even closer to me, that has a huge stocks of almost everything. You need to make sure that guy stays in business. It's probably an older guy, right? And something happens to him, his family's going to be like, thank God we don't have to do this friggin' hobby thing anymore. That frequently happens. Like you got family that either don't know how to run a business or have no interest in the hobby. And nobody's making a killing. Nobody's making a killing doing hobbies. No mom and pop stores like, man, I'm really not into Napoleonic miniatures, but man, it's sure paying the bills. I don't think anybody's in that situation. So, and I've said this before, I don't want to speak for people of Britain, but I kind of started putting two and two together. And I'm like, it's probably easier to have a cottage industry in the UK than it is here in the United States because the way that your like insurance and stuff is structured. Like if you don't, if you just get by on the minimum and you don't have like your insurance covered, like you can't go to the fucking hospital. So you can't just like, it's harder to get by here. I'm thinking, like, I'm not trying to be political or anything. I'm just trying to be, like, why are there like more little mom and pop shops in like, in the UK and stuff? Because it's easier you could get by. Okay, that's enough black lining for this bastard. It's time to do Tony's Tones. Need a theme song for that. Nah, it'd just be cheesy. Da 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 da. Overhead's way too expensive in this country. Way, in the last 5 years, it's just escalated ridiculous. What is it that I'm painting? I'm painting a Hot Wheels. I'm painting Hot Wheels for a game called Gaslands. It's time to promote the game again. It's not even my game. I know it's back asswards, and it's available on Amazon and everywhere else from Osprey, and you basically play a game with Hot Wheels and use templates. It's I've been told it's like X-Wing. I've never played X-Wing, but it's fun and it's cheap as hell because these vehicles are damn near free. There's the Justinian is here. How are you doing, man? Another cold morning in Michigan. Yeah. It's not cold here anymore. Lasted for a fucking week, and the pussyfoots here complain too much about it, I guess. Okay, never mind. This rust is actually it's visible. It's visible. I added enough weathering on it that the drippings are visible. That's what I want. Some grease monkey looking guy. Is that an offensive term, grease monkey? Yeah, I don't know how this car is going to perform. I do not know how this thing's going to perform. But the important thing is that it's and I noticed this the other day, and it really made me happy. We have a really good group of players that play locally. They have the right attitude. And one of them said something happened in the game, and it was like the case between him losing the game and going up in flames and doing something glorious. And he went with a glorious thing and he kept repeating this. He said, Luke said this. He said, it's what the crowd wants to see. And he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. This game is about not driving like a moron, but when there's an opportunity to take a risk for like a glorious thing, do it. Because that's what makes it worth watching. Not these win at all cost players. Everybody ended up losing. Every car ended up crashing and dying in that race. But the narrative was super interesting. It's all about the narrative. It's all about the narrative. Okay, I need to take a tiny break. I'm going to go to the garage, get me a Coke because I haven't had one today. We'll fill this thing full of ice, and then we'll have, and then we'll get back at it. Let me go ahead and rinse this. The tones will be all right till we get back. Be right back in a moment. 37 degrees, sweating your ass off. I think monkey without the grease is terrible. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're not going to go there. We don't do stuff like that. All right. Be right back. Okay. We're back. Yeah, I don't really get offended by anything, but there's ways not to. I don't even like the term race. I don't. I mean, if we're talking about elves and orcs and you know, all right. Boom. My Coke habit. I'm having a lot less than I used to. I'm trying to cut down. My dealer's not that happy. My Coke Zero habit. Everybody's got a bad habit. That's better than anybody else's bad habit, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so continue on with the drippings here. Yeah, so I'm using Chat GPT to come up with stuff, and it's funny to see what terminology Chat GPT does not like, and does like. Hey, I can't search for that. That might be offensive to somebody. So true story. I wanted to come up with a name of a car that one of my urban thugs drove. Now here's the reality: is if these were real people, every one of these drivers is a complete and certified asshole. Every one of them. There's no nice people racing here. They're all dickheads. Every single one of them are criminals or both. Or in my world, that's what they all are. The Crowns are crazy murder and whatever, and so is everybody else. Okay. So with that said, they're all thugs. It didn't like thugs. I had to use the terminology. What is it that it liked? It liked gangsta. It liked the gangsta. It's like, okay, well, all right. It did not like thugs. Like, there's thugs of every flavor. It's not necessarily one ethnicity that are thugs, but okay. So it's interesting to find out what words some people find offensive and other people don't. My daughter says that the name that is going to be in this vehicle is offensive, but her generation has no problem dropping the C word at everything, and I'm like, no, there's nothing wrong with the name of this, and I'm from the 1970s and the 80s, just freaking deal with it, but. Be right back. Brewing hot coffee, Folgers. What's the worst coffee brand you've had? I don't like anything that has chicory in it. I can't stand hot coffee. Makes my blood boil. Literally. We went up to Colorado. I was wearing a parka. It's like 20 something degrees or 18 degrees or something like that. It was cold. I wasn't cold. It was just cold. I still had a nice coffee outside. Yeah, it's looking pretty good here. You got some rust drippings coming from here. But yeah, I was looking at some pictures this morning, and totally, I was looking for some of the terrain inspirations, and for this building that I think I'm gonna try working on today. I will, and it'll be great. It'll be great. It's gonna take some creativity. It'll be fine. I got enough extra parts and things like that. Maxwell House coffee is flavored coffee is a word. Maxwell House Folgers. Maxwell House Folgers. It's been so long since we had a standard coffee maker that used standard grounds. I don't think that those two are much different. I personally dislike anything chicory. What's that? Chock full of nuts. That stuff makes you want to like make a train take a dirt road. Yeah, we have one of those Nespresso things. So, and I don't really have more than 2 cups a day ever. Then you just get used to it. Then you got to have like 4 cups a day. If it just. But I do need it to get the juices flowing, to work on this stuff. So I went over to game with Mitch the other day. We're going to talk about Mitch. I went over and it looks like there's an exhaust down here. So let's go ahead and paint that an exhausting color. I went over and I didn't realize that he drank a lot of freaking coffee in the morning. I had no idea. Like he had like 6 cups of coffee or something like that. And like Mitch is not like a caffeine whore. I'm like the caffeine whore. Like I thought I was. I don't think I'd ever seen him like drink that much coffee. Nothing there's anything wrong with that, but like I was surprised. But then, it was like 9 in the morning, so maybe he's used to being asleep at that time. And I've talked to people before, like, I don't understand what they think about coffee. I don't feel any different. I totally feel different. You go from like, I don't know how I'm going to do this to like, bring it on. I mean, it's definitely a drug. And it's not mind altering. It's just motivating. The get her done drug. What's train piece I've planned? So let me show you. So I ended up going to the store and bought a razor that came with a razor and everything because I needed to get one. Where's that little bastard? And it came, here's the container it came in. And you get these type of containers all the time that, you flip them over and it looks like, oh, this could be a building from Tatooine, right? Because it already has that Adobe look to it, dun, 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 something like that. And I'm like, I gotta make this some kind of gas station or something. I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be like what could be a bar. What's wrong with drinking and driving? In Gaslands, nothing at all. In real life, yeah, don't do that. Okay, but in Gaslands, like I don't even drink beer and play games. Like I got to have my head on right. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the edge of this off like down because it's kind of has like a reverse curve and prime the whole thing black and go from there. Well, actually, I'm going to build little doors and stuff. Like there needs to be like a door here, like a convenience store or something like that. I don't know what's the worst thing that can happen. I waste 2 hours of my life. You know, I think it's going to turn out great. Um, yeah, I mean, you see stuff like this all the time. Like there's something I got in the mail a long time ago, and the inserts of it look like if you flipped it upside down, it looked like that. I think it's a mosque that's in Timbuktu. You know which one I'm talking about? That's got like the pieces of wood that are through it, like the reinforcement. The big mosque looking thing. I think it's a mosque in Timbuktu. And I'm like, that's like perfect for that. But like, what use do I have for that? So you throw it, you recycle it. I throw it away. I throw it away in the recycle dumpster. One. So this, I think this has potential, and it's about the right size. I don't know what it is, convenience store or something. I don't know, place to buy lottery tickets, vape shop. Is that what people are into now? Looks like a good piece. I save anything similar. Well, I don't. I want to try to do one because I don't want to just collect crap, right? Like if this works, then we'll select one, do one at a time. It doesn't cost anything. Yeah, my only concern with it is it's hollow, which means it could get crushed transporting it from one point to another. But we'll see. We'll give it a shot. I don't really have anything to lose. I have my friend, the hot glue gun, so it's instant gratification. I don't have to wait for PVA to dry or anything like that. So we've got lots of cardboard bits that we can cut in and glue to it. And I think it'll turn, we'll try to do something fun with it. How about that? Something Gaslands thing, fun with it. There's some guy on the Gaslands page, one of the two Gaslands group, that posted like this windmill. I immediately says, I mean, that looks just like Borderlands. And he gave me a like, so maybe that's what he was going for. But I'm like, I saw that. It looks like one of those Borderlands windmill things. Speaking of Borderlands, I've tried to remember some names from some of the lunatics on Borderlands. And one of my redneck vehicles. I don't know that it's one that I have here ready to go, but one of my redneck vehicles. It's gonna be a truck. It doesn't have to be a truck. It's gonna be called Spitstain. So it's gonna have all kinds of cud drippings. I was gonna say no, dip drippings on the side of the car because that's the kind of stuff that they would do. In my exaggerated world. Mod Podge. I don't have any. What tabletops did Mitch play? Mitch is pretty much him and his weekly player, which is a friend of his from Colorado, from Illinois, that moved down. They play on Tuesdays, and they've converted every single thing they do to Command and Colors type games. That's that card-driven one. So everything they do is some variation of that. The designer of that game lives nearby-ish. I don't game with them, but they live, an hour and a half away, and they travel frequently to play with them. I think Command and Colors is a great game. It just doesn't inspire me to paint any stuff for it. It's a little too generic for my taste. It makes a good game, but I'm not tripping over myself to play it. They pretty much play that, and one of the reasons I was told is they like hexes. They like games with hexes. I'm not gonna paint miniatures and play on them on hexes. It's a little too. I'm painting something really specific to play in a very like. You have to squint too much to look at things. I don't enjoy it. You know, it doesn't motivate me to build miniatures. I have no problem playing the game. I just not my thing. So that's what they do. He has like a bunch of epic miniatures. They've converted playing epic, you know, the epic 40K to that. You know, it's just not. It doesn't excite me, but it makes them happy. That works for me. They're playing at a time that I can't play anyways, so no harm, no foul. You know, they play on Tuesday, which is my Sunday, so. That's pretty much what he'll play anything. I mean, he's super, you know, easy when it comes to playing stuff. Well, he just shows up and plays. He doesn't create anything for it. You know, he doesn't. He just likes to play. And that's what some people are. Some people just like to paint things. Some people just like to paint and play things, which is I think the smallest group is people that like to like do what I do, like play a game and build stuff. Most people either build stuff or just play. And I'd say most people just play. Well, anybody can play a game. You know, if I just want to play games, I'll just stay here and play on the Xbox. You know? Yeah, so that's really visible that there's a rat with a pizza box there on the front seat. But that's what the guy wanted to do. Whatever that inside joke is. I'll have to watch that rat pizza box thing, Pizza Gate or whatever the hell it's called. I know it's not called Pizza Gate, whatever it's called. That's a New York thing. Why would I know what's going on in New York? That's another world. I mean, New York is less like the rest of America than London is like the rest of the UK, I would imagine. I only like watching programming that's too New Yorky. It's not relatable. Like that's another world. All right, so we're going to need to get Iron Warriors out. Of course, that's still a little wet. So let me go to the dark tone, which we still should have some. I don't know if that's primer or not. Just to be safe, we're going to put a new dark tone, and we're going to, that is a spew point for exhaust. So we're going to paint that accordingly. Use a brush that's larger than normal. I'm sure they removed the catalytic converter on this vehicle. Environmentally friendly is definitely not one of the traits of this world. Like, they couldn't care any less. Yeah, I don't have any Mod Podge. Isn't that just like watered down Elmer's or something like that? Watered down PVA, or is it? its own little mix. I could give it a spray of PVA. It's not very soft. I mean, I think it'll be durable enough. I mean, there's even some supporting things here. Ooh, you know? Has a recycled symbol, so it'll be like twice recycled if I make something out of it. Let's go in there with this and see if we can get away with this. $6 Million Man. Man, I used to love that show as a kid. Let's make it so this guy's running fast. Right. We'll make the video slow. Like, huh? $6 Million Man. I used to like that shit. What else are you supposed to watch in the 70s as a kid? Dukes of Hazzard? What else? $6 Million Man was a lot better than Dukes of Hazzard. It's funny, the superpower for the bionic woman was the hearing. I'm like, look, they even knew it back then. They were even onto that stuff back then. She hears everything. Me too. You building a Mad Max? Yeah, kind of. It's for a game called Gaslands. So yeah, am I building a Mad Max? Yeah, me and about 40 other cars that I have so far. The whole point is to, you know, I want to make them look like what they really perform like. I don't want to be like, have all these guns and then like, oh, we have a flamethrower on it. Yeah, but what about all these machine guns that are on it? So, yeah, it's just for looks. It doesn't really, I like what you see is what you get. I look at it as an opportunity to paint more things. You know, if you play what you see is what you get, well, then you only need one car of every category: a performance vehicle, a regular car, a truck, a monster truck. That's it, and then you can have whatever weapon you want. I'm like, no, it's an opportunity to come up with names for them, and just have them drive differently. And they really take no time really to do. I mean, it take a couple hours, but that's like no time. Trust me, that's like no time at all. So let me go put my glasses on and step away from this thing. Let's put it on a surface that we're used to looking at, which is, all this is, I take photos of this stuff. All this is the reverse side of a mouse pad. And it looks asphaltic enough, you know? And this is supposed to look drab. God, this chair is just insufferable. It's because I'm sitting too far back in it. If I sit towards the front, I give myself back problems, but it's silent. Yeah, let's flip this thing around, because having reverse numbers and things is just annoying as shit. I don't blame you. I'd hate it too. Man, why is this thing having so much trouble focusing? Here we go. I think this looks pretty good. I mean, it looks significantly different than any of the other vehicles that I have. The only thing I don't like doing is I don't like grabbing like toothpicks and stuff like. I don't like doing stuff that doesn't look great and making it work. I mean, it's fine if other people want to do that. It looks significantly different than, say, laser focused. God, I love doing the taillights on this thing. I mean, this vehicle had all of this. This RS logo was in 3D. right? The Ford logo was in 3D. The lights were all there, but all of it was in green. All was in this is the original green body color. And same thing for the front headlamps. They're all there, but none of it was painted in. So I just enhance, it's like the person that designed these things did a great job. The paint department said, we don't want to do all that. I'm like, dude, I put all that detail and you guys don't want to do it? No. So let's grab, what else we got here? We finished this one up yesterday. Again, we just went over the colors. This was already this metallic blue color. And it already had the flames. Like, why would I repaint that? Like I'm never going to repaint the flames. Like that's a lot of work, even to repaint it. And it's already there. And then this is a super cheap looking vehicle, and I think it turned out okay. It's a Maesto truck. Again, didn't have any of these headlamps painted. The only thing is all of my cars don't really have any like cohesion, and that's fine. I don't want these are all like free agents. This isn't necessarily a team. All these would probably be free agents. I got ones that have certain team motifs, but they're all different. So I guess these two guys probably play for the same team. The old classic car, like the kind of things. So this is I got like 10 I haven't even made cars for. So I'm probably close to 50 vehicles at this point. Now, with that said, we have a shit ton more vehicles to do. Now, I'm not going to get to all of them, but I got a shitload of variety here. I got probably 200 more vehicles to do. So, it is a super, 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 super cheap hobby. It's super cheap. So, yeah, we got all kinds of shit. We got the Barbie bomber, Bimbo bomber. Sorry, Bimbo bomber. I can't shoot it from this side. This light works against me. I saw this little dream. What's this thing? Dream catcher, dream whatever. Like this has got to be some crazy bitch that just likes to nail people. And I mean that in a shoots guns at people way. No, all this stuff was there. That ladder was there. That ladder was molded into the plastic, but it was pink. Like it doesn't stand out. Like you can't see that 2 feet away. You gotta like make those things pop. Like these vehicles all have these $1 vehicles have a lot of detail on them. You just have to enhance them so that stuff like it's visible. So anyhow, yeah, we got a bunch. We got a bunch. Why does it say I've only been on for 21 minutes? I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah, and I say this when I paint miniatures. The people that design this stuff don't get enough credit. Maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit. Whatever. I've been doing this 40 fucking years. Like this is like easy. This is like super easy. And it's fine if you want to repaint them, but if you repaint them, you lose this beautiful paint job that already came with the vehicle. Like this Nova Paint here. Nova Paint came with this beautiful stripe job. Like I don't want to redo that. I don't want to redo it and fix it and try to repaint it. It's beautiful. Let's add some drippings to it, enhance it. Let's put dark washes where things go, add guns to them. This whole front grille was all one color. It was called chrome. The entire thing was chrome. I'm like, that doesn't work. These are beautiful pieces of, and they're precise. They're really, really precise. I've mentioned that trying to put like this netting, like if you use like this, where is she? this stuff, this netting as a, protective barrier inside the windows and stuff like that, it's wafer thin. And it's too thick to fit in there. Like the tolerances on these vehicles are so darn tight, you can't do that. You have to like chip things out and stuff like that. So, okay, let's put these guys away. And since we are done with Rat Fink, I almost called him Rat Fink. No, Ram Rat. If you don't remember the name of the game of this vehicle, just read it. It's written on the side of it. I think it's the only one that has that of all the 40 vehicles. Ram Rat. We are going to work on Pussyfoot, the monster truck, because that's what's on it. It's a big, got feet all over it and got a big pussy on it. Okay. All right. Yeah, the picture quality sucks for you guys. I'm sorry. I do need to rig some kind of a light from back there here, so you're shining this way and you're getting the, Rat Fink approved. I had one of those models. I didn't have the car. I had like this. It was like a monster. It was like a. You know what? Let me look that up. Let me look that up and find out what monster it was that I had. And I was back when I was painting 1/35 scale things, and I was going to make it some Nazi experiment that went awry. Like they create. I mean, this was before Wolfenstein came out, so I was like, Rat Fink. Rat Fink monster. See which one he is. See if I can recognize which one he is. Images. Didn't look like a rat. All right, how about Rat Fink model? I don't remember if it even came with a car. I don't remember if it came with a car or not. I'll recognize him immediately when I see the bastard. Most of these look like a bad trip. I know that's oh my gosh, they make Rat Fink diecast. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Let me make this big and show you guys on. That's awesome. That is freaking great. Teeth here. That's freaking great. Oh man. Now just wait till I do the clown cars. I got a whole series of like 6 clown cars. They got like these mad, crazy clown graphics on the side of them. All right, well, I'm actually going to stop this feed. We got the everybody else is awake. You guys are going to be hearing, outside noise. We'll be back on later today. I may jump and do this building before I do this. But we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe so you can find out when I'm on if you want to chit chat. And appreciate you coming by. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.